What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Monday. We're back at another game of pick and predictions here. We starting off here strong with a Friday night classic. We got Oregon going to Purdue. These Friday games have been a little weird, especially for the teams that are going across the country to play these teams. But I just don't think Oregon's going to fall in that trap of overnight woes, jet lag, and losing to a team like Purdue. So I have them winning 35-14. Next Friday night game, which is going to be a late one out there in the East Coast, we have BYU versus Oklahoma State. I have this a lot closer than the spread shows. The spread shows -9, but like I said in the previous pick, these Friday night games are brutal for these players. I don't like them. I just think there creates too much variety. I do like upsets. I am the upset king on this channel if you've been following me for a while. But I do have BYU winning just barely, winning by 3 here. I think Oklahoma State still has some life in them, but I do think that BYU is a stronger team here. First Saturday game we have is Miami versus Louisville. This will be our first upset of the weekend. Start ringing the bells. Miami has been playing with fire for the last couple weeks now, barely beating certain teams, especially barely beating Cal. Cal could have won that game, and Miami would have their first loss. But this week, I have Miami losing to Louisville. Even Las Vegas thinks it's going to be a close one. -4 for Miami, practically a pick'em. So I will see Louisville holding the victory flag, storming the field on Saturday, 33-30. Next Saturday game we have is Virginia versus Clemson. I was doing some research with Virginia. I didn't realize they were 4-2 until just now. 2-1 in ACC play. I thought about making this game a little bit closer, but I went back, I went in the lab, started looking at Virginia's schedule, and noticed that they have not played anyone good. So I think that Virginia's going to try to keep this close in the first half, and then Clemson's going to take flight in the second half and ultimately win this game 35-20. First, next Saturday, Big Ten matchup. We have undefeated Indiana versus 5-1 Nebraska. Nebraska looks very strong at the beginning of the season. They look very strong now. So this is why I have another upset alarm bells ringing. I know if you guys saw my previous Big Ten what-if prediction, I had Indiana going all the way to see if they would have a chance if other teams would go. But I just don't think Indiana's going to have it this season. I still believe at the beginning of the season I said Indiana's one of those fraudster teams who just don't perform at the highest level that they can throughout the entire season. So I have Indiana losing this one, but it's going to be a close one. Indiana comes out and wins this game. Power to them. I still believe in the underdog story, but I think Nebraska's story is going to be a little bit better. They have that Patrick Mahomes clone on the backfield there, so I have Nebraska winning 27-24. Next Saturday game we have is Auburn versus Missouri. I want another upset in this pick, but Auburn just hasn't been performing to the caliber of potential upset teams. I do not think Missouri's going to lose this game. I think Missouri's going to start out this game pretty strong. Auburn's going to score some points. Missouri's going to be in control of this game for most of the time. I just don't think that Missouri wants to get kicked out of the rankings this early in the season. So I have Missouri winning 31-20. Next Saturday game, welcome Army to the rankings. They're playing against Eastern Carolina. Army's been going nutty in the background. They've been scoring on these teams. They look like Cincinnati back when they went to the playoffs, where they were just blowing teams in their conference out of the water. Army has a new quarterback, Bryson Daly. He can throw, he can run, he's a dual threat. He might have more rushing yards, but that's just the Army offense. Downhill, smash mouth football. But with the quarterback that can actually throw the ball, it makes it even more scary going up against a team like this. So I have Army winning 42-10. Next Saturday, 3:30, we have Tennessee versus Alabama, the two Titans. If both these teams didn't lose and both these teams didn't suck against non-ranked teams, this would be a higher tiered matchup. If they were both undefeated because they didn't lose those unranked teams, we would be seeing 4-5, 3-4, etc. But what we got is 7 versus 10, and I do have Tennessee upsetting Alabama on this one. I think Alabama against unranked teams has been actually laughable. Losing to Vandy, almost losing to South Carolina. If you watched the end of that game, that there was just so many errors that South Carolina got the touchdown, just barely missed the open receiver for the 2-point conversion, then got the onside kick to potentially kick a field goal to win. But they ultimately came out the W, but I think Tennessee has been performing a little bit better. OT last week, losing to Arkansas the previous week. I just don't think these two teams are what they used to be, and Alabama without Nick Saban is just a shell of what they were. So I have Tennessee winning 33-28 on this one. Saturday, 3:30, another upset, ringing the bells. We have upsets all weekend. We have Georgia Tech versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame has not been looking the greatest overall. I just don't think that they should be in the 12-team playoff. And I think Georgia Tech has been performing very well against teams. Even in their losses, it didn't look too bad. It didn't look awful. But I do think that Georgia Tech can come out in the W on this one. So I have them winning 35-32 on this one. Saturday, 3:30, we have Illinois versus Michigan. I wouldn't put any upsets on this one. They're both low tier, ranked on ranked matchup, 22 versus 24. I do have Illinois squeezing the victory out of this one. I just don't think Michigan's very good. I think this last AP poll should have kicked them out of the rankings just because there's way better teams that are 5-1, even 4-2 teams that are better than Michigan's performance. They just lost to Washington a couple weeks ago. Then Washington went on to get blown out by Iowa, an Iowa team that just got blown out by Ohio State. So I just don't think Michigan deserves to be where they are, but they are at 24 as of right now. But I do have Illinois winning this 27-21. 3:30 Saturday, we have is Navy, another one of those Armed Forces Academy versus Charlotte. What we're going to see here is absolute domination. Navy is another, just like Army, has found themselves a QB who can throw the ball. Blake, on the opposite side of the ball, can not only run, he can throw. Dual threat makes it even scarier because it's just a dual threat, and I think Navy's going to dominate this game. They're similar to Army, blowing teams out of the water with that explosive offense and very strong defense by all means. So I have them winning 45-7. First Saturday evening game we have is Texas A&M versus Mississippi State. This is another game that I really thought about putting as an upset, but I just don't think Texas A&M is going to lose against Mississippi State. Mississippi State is the worst team in the SEC right now, and yes, they scored 31 points on Georgia, but I just don't think that I don't think that's going to happen multiple weeks in a row. And the previous weeks, if you saw Mississippi State perform, it just wasn't up to that level. So I do have Texas A&M winning this with vigor, and I think it's going to be 30-10 in this one. First Saturday evening game we have is LSU versus Arkansas. Please just ring this bell all week long. We have Arkansas beating LSU in this one. The spread has -2.5, which is crazy. I noticed that Arkansas did get some AP votes, and they did perform well against the likes of Tennessee. So I do think that Arkansas can do it again, beat LSU at their own game. So I have them winning 31-27. First evening game is the game of the week, Texas versus Georgia. That's just what I'm saying, that those other 8 SEC teams could have been at this level of competition within the top 7 with their undefeated records, but they decided to lose to unranked teams. But anyway, Texas and Georgia. I have Texas being the stronger favorite. This game is a -3.5. It's going to be a pickup. It's going to be in Texas territory. I think that Texas is going to have the advantage here, just a slight margin for victory, and I do think they're going to come out on top this one. Quinn Ewers looked amazing last week. Georgia's defense did not look too good, allowing Mississippi State to score 31 points, trying to come back in the second half with 17 points in the third quarter. I just don't think they're going to be able to compete with Texas's explosive offense. So I do think that it's going to be a close game, but I do think that Texas is going to come out on top on this one, 28-27. Next Saturday evening game we have is undefeated Iowa State versus the UCF Knights. Iowa State's looking great. Not only is they looking great just because they're winning games, but they're making my team, Iowa Hawkeyes, look better. So Iowa State's going to come out here, dominate this game. UCF had a strong start, but after that loss to Colorado earlier in the year, they just been looking worse and worse. So I have Iowa State dominating this game 38-17. This Saturday at 7:30, we have West Virginia versus Kansas State. Ring the bell again. Another upset coming. I have West Virginia coming out on top. For whatever reason this season, Las Vegas has been putting West Virginia at these -3s, -4s, super close margins for like all the ranked teams they play. And they just haven't been able to just get over that hump just yet. So I think West Virginia, I think this is their time. I think this is Vegas' time. The clock is right twice a day. So I think West Virginia is going to actually beat this team 24-22 in a nail biter. Last ranked game of the weekend, we have SMU versus Stanford. We have SMU showing a lot of talent this year in the ACC, really running the table on these teams who are most of which thought that adding SMU wasn't even the best idea, i.e. Clemson, Florida State, but they're running the table. So I think that SMU is going to dominate against Stanford. Stanford is not very good. They scored early on Notre Dame, scored 7 points right there in the first quarter, and they never scored again. So I think SMU is going to dominate this 31-6, no question. Bonus content, we have is Iowa Hawkeye versus Michigan State. And it's not really bonus because if you've been here for a while, you know that I always talk about the Hawkeyes, no matter if they're ranked or not. It's going to be a 7:30 game. Iowa showing a strong performance against Washington, scoring 40 points. But I do think that Iowa's going to win this 35-14 with ease. That's going to be it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. Peace.